My child, listen closely, for time is slipping through unseen cracks. What I carry for you today is not ordinary, it is sacred, ordained for your spiritual one. You've been feeling the tremors, haven't you? The world around you is shifting, the noise is louder and the light seems dimmer. But you were not made to be swallowed by the chaos. You were chosen to rise. Don't walk away from this moment. Every word that follows holds yaki to peace, clarity, and purpose. You've been aching for this is your wake-up call, your divine interruption. Lean in now, you are exactly where you need to be. I have been watching you. A strange signal has been picked up from the heavens. The angels are no longer silent. Something is wrong deep within your being. A cry of pain, silent yet constant, echoing from a place you've long ignored. Do you think I say this as a gentle warning? No, my dear one. This is an urgent plea. I see your body struggling to stand on a foundation that is already cracked. You think you're just busy or just growing, but the truth is, you are withering. The intricate system I have given you works silently until it stops. My child, the first pages of your health record have begun to change color, not from hospital charts, but from my gaze, the one who sees every cell within you. They are sounding the alarm. These invisible lines mark every time you've skipped a meal for the sake of duty, every sleepless night consumed by worry, every soul wound you never tended to. You may not know it, but what you call tiredness has already become exhaustion. In that record, I see small dark spots, areas where your internal organs are beginning to suffer from prolonged tension. You believe you are strong, but you are only suppressing the signs of collapse. Your liver is struggling to filter out what doesn't belong. Your blood thickens with unreleased fear and anger. Your nervous system can no longer distinguish real danger from imagined threats. You are living in survival mode, not in the fullness of life I intended for you. I don't just see numbers, I see the messages behind each figure in that record. You may not have gone for tests yet, but I have already read the anomalies. Every breathless moment, every irregular heartbeat, every fragmented sleep, they are not mere symptoms. They are reminders, knocks at your door. If you continue to ignore them, these warnings will eventually turn into a diagnosis. But if you listen now, I will lead you onto a path of restoration where healing comes not just from medicine, but from love and a conscious presence. My precious one, when I created you, I didn't just shape you from dust. I breathed my very breath into you. Every part of your body is not just flesh and bone, but a sacred architecture woven by my love and wisdom. I didn't form you just to survive. I made you to live, to walk, and to carry my light in every cell. You are not merely human, you are a living temple, and I, the Holy One, have chosen to dwell in you, to be with you every single day. You often see your body as a tool, a machine to work, to fulfill obligations, to push through life. But your body is not a machine. It is a temple. It can love, it can hurt, it can remember, it can breathe. It is the meeting place of heaven and earth, the sacred vessel of my presence. If you look again with awakened eyes, you will see it was never a secondary thing, but an essential part of your spiritual journey. I know you have sometimes felt ashamed of your body when it wasn't strong enough, beautiful enough, or fast enough, but I never compared you that way. I love your body not for its shape, but because it is part of my good plan. When you care for your physical being, you are honoring the life I placed within. When you eat with gratitude, rest in trust, and move with joy, that is worship through embodied living. Perhaps no one has ever told you this, that caring for your body is a spiritual act. But now I say it to you. It is the truth. There is no divide between the sacred and the physical when I dwell in both. You cannot love me while despising my temple. And if that temple is cracking, if it is crying out, I cannot remain silent. I must speak because I love you. You think those small symptoms don't matter. The fleeting headache, the restless night, the sudden pounding heart. But to me, they are warning bells. They are not merely medical phenomena. They are messages. When your body speaks, something is wrong, not just in your muscles or organs, but in your soul. Do not dismiss them, my child. Do not brush them off as just part of a busy life. I don't send illness to punish you, but I allow these signs to arise so that you may return. They are knocks at the door, gentle yet resolute reminders. Every pain is a whisper that you have drifted too far from the rhythm of healing I ordained. You were not made to survive. You were created to live in peace, in safety, in fullness. If you can listen to the pain, it will guide you home. Don't wait for a doctor's report to begin changing. Look back. I have whispered to you many times already, when you were tired without reason, when joy seemed to vanish, when you needed caffeine instead of breath to start your day. That was the moment your health record began to shift, and I, in love, saw it from the very beginning. I do not blame you. I am reaching out my hand to draw you near, because if you listen, you will not just avoid harm, you will discover goodness. I will not stay silent when my temple is crumbling. I never abandon you when the life I gave is being drained. I act through whispers, through inner stirrings, through this very message you're reading now, because I want you to know you are not alone. You are not abandoned in your exhaustion, and you do not need to continue in the dark. Today's awakening is the beginning of healing. If you open your heart and return to me, I am ready to welcome you. Beloved child, sometimes you think sorrow, resentment, and fear will fade with time. You believe you've moved on simply because you no longer speak of them. But I see clearly that they have not disappeared. They have only sunk deeper. They thread through each breath, each heartbeat, each micro-reaction within your body. A painful word left unresolved, a buried memory. These no longer live in your mind, but reside in your very flesh and blood. What you haven't forgiven in others or yourself has settled in layers within your liver. I see the parts you try to suppress, the anger you dare not express, the fear hidden beneath your strength, and the sorrow with no place to go. Do you know that when your heart is heavy, it truly beats differently? When you live in chronic anxiety, your stomach responds. When you swallow emotions, your throat and chest begin to signal blockages. This is not coincidence. This is the voice of the body. I did not design you to store pain. I did not fashion your body to imprison emotions. It is meant to flow, both biologically and spiritually. But when emotion is suppressed, that flow stagnates, and in stagnation, illness finds room to grow. Many diseases begin not with viruses or bacteria, but with a heart left wounded for too long, untouched by love and understanding. My dear child, healing does not begin at the pharmacy. It begins in your heart. It begins the moment you dare to admit that you are still hurting, still holding resentment, still unable to let go. When you allow your tears to fall, I call it the water that washes your soul. When you dare to forgive, even without an apology, that is when you break the chain that binds your past pain to your present. Forgiveness is not something you do for others. It is how you release yourself from invisible shackles. I know you are afraid of being hurt again. You fear that if you open your heart, someone might wound you once more. But my child, a heart that is not open cannot heal. It needs light. It needs truth. And I am here not to force you, but to walk with you as you dismantle each layer of armor and every wall you've built from fear. Every step you take toward truth is a step closer to restoration. You ask me, how do I heal? And I answer, begin with honesty. Be honest with yourself about what you're still carrying inside. Only when you acknowledge it can you let it go. And when you release it, your body, which has been waiting all along, will begin its own process of recovery. No longer blocked by bitterness, no longer ruled by old wounds. You will feel lighter, not because your weight has dropped, but because your soul's burden has been lifted. True healing, my beloved child, does not begin with medicine. It begins with tears. with prayer, with forgiveness. I have been waiting for you there. There is no pain too deep that my love cannot reach, no wound too old that my grace cannot heal. Begin today by breathing deeply, opening your heart and saying to me, I'm ready to let go. I will do the rest because I love you, because I am still here. Dearest one, there is something I want you to remember. Exhaustion is not your destiny. I never intended for you to live in a constant state of weariness, dragging yourself through each day, merely surviving. Yet I see you have begun to accept fatigue as part of growing up, of being responsible, of adulthood. You have assumed that aches are the price of success. You believe burnout is inevitable in this world, but that belief did not come from me. I created a body capable of restoring itself, of finding balance, of speaking up when overwhelmed. But you no longer hear its voice. You drink more coffee than water, sleep less than your soul requires, and let blue screens replace morning light. And when you feel drained, you call it normal. When you suffer from headaches, back pain, or foggy thoughts, you assume everyone else does too. But I did not create you to be just like everyone else. I created you uniquely, preciously, to live with vibrant life force. Do you remember how as a child you woke up full of eagerness? Life sparkled in your eyes, but now you open them and already feel tired, wanting to crawl back into bed. That's not because you've gotten old. It's because your body is sounding the alarm. Something is not right. Chronic fatigue is a signal, not your fate. It's the first message telling you to pause and listen. If ignored, the imbalance will deepen from minor disorders to more lasting damage. I see inside you that many systems are overwhelmed. Your body is struggling with microscopic chain reactions, hormonal imbalances, lowered immunity, and hidden inflammation. But these didn't appear overnight. They began with the little things you thought didn't matter. Skipped breakfasts, short sleep, unprocessed emotions. These small acts accumulated bit by bit until your body could no longer conceal them. Only then do you call it illness, but in truth, it was a long-missed warning. I did not write your life story in weary lines. I did not design you for stagnation or burnout. The life I placed in you still flows, waiting only for a few right adjustments to be rekindled. You'll be amazed to discover your body is not against you. It's always been on your side. It only needs to be heard. It needs real rest, real nourishment, and freedom from the stress you no longer recognize. And here's the good news. I want you to remember always, your body holds a miraculous ability to heal. I designed it with wisdom far beyond human understanding. Just start again with even a small step and you will witness transformation. One night of proper sleep, one day of mindful eating, one pause to breathe deeply and give thanks. These seemingly small acts, when repeated in love, can reverse what you thought was beyond saving. I do not ask you to be perfect overnight. I only ask you to begin. Let me walk beside you. Let me show you each simple step to restore this temple. Nothing is too late. As long as you're willing to return, you don't have to keep living as though life is being drained from you. For I, who gave you your first breath, am still breathing new life into you. If you believe, if you listen, the miracle will begin from within. My beloved child, there is one thing I always want you to remember, that I placed you in a garden, not inside a factory. From the beginning, I created a place overflowing with life, fruits hanging from trees, vegetables rising from good soil, fresh water flowing through the quiet air. No preservatives, no chemicals, only simplicity, purity, and abundance. But little by little, humanity strayed from that garden, and now your body bears the consequence of that departure. You are living in an age where what's called food often steals your vitality. Look at your plate. How many things on it truly came from the earth? How many have been processed until their soul no longer remains? Bright-colored drinks, meals sealed in plastic, food passed through countless procedures. They do not nourish you. They clog your body. They trick your hunger but offer no life. And I, the one who formed every organ within you, see the weight they place upon you. Your liver, dear one, is the most silent warrior. It works tirelessly day and night to filter the harmful, but now it is overwhelmed. I see the enzymes starting to falter, the toxins escaping unfiltered, the rashes, the fatigue, the inner heat. Your blood, meant to flow like a spring river, is thickening due to cholesterol, silent inflammation, and unwanted biochemical reactions. And your gut, the center of emotion, your second brain, is crying out from imbalance, from disrupted microbiomes, from food so wrong that you feel constantly drained, scattered, and easily agitated. I do not tell you this to scare you, but to awaken you, because I know your body can still recover. But for that to happen, you must return, not to some human-devised diet, but to my original intention. Choose again what grows from the earth: leafy greens, roots, whole grains. Drink from clean sources, water with no scent, no color, yet full of life. Seek the herbs I planted in nature, not requiring complex formulas, only your belief that I gifted them as healing offerings. You will be amazed at how quickly your body revives when it is nourished with what suits it. As you gradually let go of refined sugars, industrial oils, and deep-fried foods, you'll hear your liver breathe a sigh of relief. When you eat fruit in the morning instead of canned goods, your gut will smile. When you cook a pot of brown rice porridge with vegetables and gratitude, your blood will flow with ease. These simple acts are how you return to the garden, not with your feet, but with your heart. I never asked for you to be elaborate. I love simplicity. In the garden, you need no expensive brands or rigid portions. Just eat in silence, with gratitude and awareness. You don't need perfection. You only need honesty. Honesty about what you're consuming, and honesty about what your body is saying. Every time you choose food born from life, you walk with me on the path of healing. Remember, healing does not begin at the pharmacy. It begins at the table. And the table, when rightly set, becomes a sacred feast. A place where you are nourished not just by food, but by love, by faith, and by return. To return to the garden is not merely physical. It is a spiritual choice, and I, the maker of the garden, stand with open arms, waiting to welcome you home. Beloved child, healing does not require you to be perfect. It only asks for one thing: faith, even if it is as small as a mustard seed. And I know that deep within you, that faith is still smoldering. Though you may feel weary, confused, or even doubtful, I see a flicker of light in the depths of your heart. Small, fragile, yet never extinguished. All it takes is one step from you, however shaky, however uncertain, and I will take your hand, and the miracle will begin. Many of my children are still waiting for a supernatural miracle, all while overlooking the healing opportunities I've placed right in front of them. Do you think I only work through dreams or strange encounters? No, my child. I am at work through every conscientious physician, every scientist enlightened by me, every healer whose heart overflows with compassion. When a doctor makes an early diagnosis, when a nutritionist shows you how to eat from the beginning, when a small piece of advice helps you sleep better, that too is my whisper. Start here. You don't need to change everything in one day, but a single small action, if done in faith, can bring about great transformation. A blood test to understand what's happening inside, a gentle morning walk, a decision to say no to the food that harms your liver, a midnight prayer instead of another hour of worry. These things may seem small, but they are signs of trust that you are walking with me, that you believe your body is worthy of healing. And dear one, this is not your fault. No one ever taught you how to listen to your body. You weren't handed the knowledge of healing foods or a life in rhythm. You've done the best you could with what you had, and I see that effort. I do not blame you, but today you are no longer in the dark. Now you have awareness, and with awareness comes choice. not to add to your burden, but to begin a new journey, one where I walk with you every step of the way. Healing does not come when you are good enough. It begins when you dare to believe. You don't have to feel strong. You only need to be honest enough to say, I want to begin again. And I will do the part you cannot. I will strengthen you when you are weary, remind you when you forget how precious you are. Faith is not a feeling. It is a decision. And if you decide that today will be different from yesterday, heaven will partner with you to open the path of healing. You are not alone. You have never been alone. And healing what you once thought was far off is actually just one step away. One prayer, one moment of listening. I am still here, patient, loving, waiting for you to open the door. For I have never stopped believing that you can be restored fully, completely, from the inside out. My beloved child, I know you've been trying. I see your daily effort when you get out of bed. That should have been a place of recovery, but instead has become a cradle for an exhausted body. I see you wear your fatigue as if it's an obligatory part of adult life. You call your weariness normal, your vague pains insignificant, your heaviness the price to pay. But today, I've come to tell you gently yet firmly, no, my child, it does not have to be this way. You've grown used to dismissing unusual signals from your body as small things, as something that will pass, as what everyone goes through. But I see deeper than you see. I read what is not printed on medical reports. I hear the groans of each cell, invisible to the eye. And what I see troubles me, not because you are weak, but because you are straying far beyond the safety lines I drew for you when I wove you together. Something within you is cracking, not loudly, not clearly, but it is real. It shows up in every short breath, in every unexplained flutter in your chest, in the exhaustion that follows an ordinary day. You think your pounding heart is just fleeting anxiety, that waking at night is just work stress, that your aching legs are from walking too much. But I see clearly, this isn't just the result of business. It's a warning, a bell sounding deep within where spirit and body intersect. You may not see it yet, but I do. And today, I can't remain silent. I have knocked on your door many times, in the stillness of night when you turn restlessly in bed, in the faint chest pang you quickly brush off, in the tiredness in your eyes reflected in the mirror. Do you remember how often you've paused midday just to breathe deeply, sensing something wasn't right in your chest? That was me, closer than ever, gently trying to stir you from chronic numbness. But you were busy surviving, busy enduring, busy pretending to be okay. And each time I felt your pain with you, your true record, not the sterile files from a hospital, is a scroll written by your daily choices. I see the days you forgot to eat because of work, the nights you filled your body with things your soul silently rejected, the months you ignored sleep, buried emotions, dismissed the first warning signs. I sent messengers to caution you, a passing dizziness, a clouded mind, a skipped heartbeat, but they were brushed aside, called temporary. My child, when temporary repeats, it becomes permanent. I do not blame you. I understand why you lived that way. You believed you had to be strong, that resting was weakness, that seeing a doctor was wasteful. You believed sheer willpower could fix everything. But the body doesn't run on willpower. It is biology. It has limits. And those limits, I designed them not to restrain but to protect. When you cross those lines, what's first to suffer isn't productivity. It's you in your fullness, body and soul. Your heart has endured longer than it should. Those irregular beats are not just physical signs. They are cries for help. Your fluctuating blood pressure is not due to weather. It is a symptom of internal unrest. Your immune system, your quiet guardian, is now weary from non-stop work without recovery. A breeze makes you sneeze. A small stress causes stomach pain. You are not weak. You are warned. And there is no shame in that. But it must be faced. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. I see your hormones, messengers I created to keep balance, now in chaos. They can no longer tell when you truly need to fight and when you are simply worried. You feel sad for no reason, tired without doing much, restless without cause. These are signs of rhythm gone awry. This is what happens when you live out of sync with the original design, where your body was meant to move with light, with rest, with the quietness I ordained from the beginning. My beloved, I do not say this to frighten you. I speak from love because I know that when you see what's truly happening, you will choose differently. You never meant to harm yourself. You simply did not know, but now you do. And once light enters, truth cannot be ignored. I do not want you to keep living in half survival. I want you to live fully, rightly, joyfully, healthily, deeply. And that begins the moment you dare to face the truth. Sit down, breathe, listen to your body again. It is speaking. It is not your enemy. It is your faithful friend trying every way to alert you. It is not broken, just depleted. And if you turn back now, you will see healing has never been far. Just one test, one true rest, one decision to trade processed food for nourishment from the earth. And you are already stepping into the light. Miracles are not always loud. Sometimes they begin with your simple belief that you are worthy of healing. I am here not to judge, but to lift you up, not to repeat your past, but to help you write a new ending to this record. The beginning pages bear witness to your silent efforts. The middle pages carry wounds not yet named. But today's page and all that follow will be written with faith, awareness, and courage. And I will hold your hand and write every word with a love that never changes. My beloved child, you do not know this, but I have always been there. With every shallow breath, in every restless night you turned from side to side, in the distant look you wore while sitting alone wondering, why do I always feel this way? I did not merely see the weariness in your eyes. I felt it. It pierced through skin and bone, reaching into the deepest places where I dwell within you. And even when you ignored the signs, even when you turned away, I never turned my back on you. I am not angry with you, my child. I ache with you, like a father watching his cherished child, struggling to hold on, weary, yet still trying to smile. Like a creator seeing his temple crafted with wisdom and love, breaking apart piece by piece. Not because of evil, but because you never truly learned how to protect yourself. I do not blame you. I only long to step in, to hold you and say, now it is time to return. You were created to shine, not to merely survive the days, not to endure, to fight, to wait for rest only when sickness comes. You were made to run, to dance, to breathe deeply without heaviness, to open your eyes each morning and feel fresh energy surge through every cell. The life I placed within you is not a dying flame. It is a sacred spark. It only needs a breeze of love, a wise decision, a sincere shift to burn brightly again. Do not let fear be the reason for your change. I do not want you to flee from illness. I want you to run toward life. The journey of healing is not one of panic, but of love. I do not lift you by force. I invite you with light, because the truth is I have already prepared the path. I have placed healing hands along the way, timely answers, pure waters, and good fruits from my garden, but I cannot walk it for you. I will show the way, but you must take the step. Faith without action is a breathless word. You may pray, and I will hear every whisper, every silent tear. I gather them in my vessel. But true faith, my child, is when you pray and then you move, when you ask and then you change, when you say, I believe with your mouth and choose life with your heart. Do not wait until you have time, money, or someone to walk with you. Do not wait until you feel ready. Healing does not wait. It responds when you begin. A cup of clean water each morning instead of chemical-laden drinks, that is an act of faith. A simple meal of fresh vegetables and whole grains, that is praise to me through your body. A full night's rest on time, that is not laziness, but obedience. I see you've pushed yourself too long. You've carried a mistaken belief that only when you achieve enough, strive enough, prove yourself enough, then you'll earn the right to rest. But that is not truth from me. Do you remember? In the beginning of creation, I established a day of rest, not after humanity proved anything, but from the very start. Rest is a gift, not a reward. It is the rhythm I wrote into the universe, so you would always know when to stop and be renewed. Your mind, my dear, is spinning too fast. Your head is full of to-dos, must-carries, must-endures. And because it never stops, you can no longer hear me. But I have never stopped speaking. I whisper in the morning, I brush your half-sleep, I speak through birdsong, through the wind, through the quiet ache of loneliness in the crowd. I say, be still, my child, and know that I am God. I am not only the God of your soul, I am the God of your body. I dwell in every living molecule, every heartbeat, every functioning hormone, every firing neuron. Do not separate me from your biology. I am within it. I love your liver cells as I love your spirit. I tend to the micro-tears in your intestine as I tend to the wounds in your soul. To me, nothing is too small. Nothing is unholy. That is why I plead with you. Return to what I have created. Do not seek life in places where no life exists. Do not consume artificial things and then pray for divine healing. I am not in what is concocted out of greed. I am in the foods that rise from the soil, vegetables, fruits, herbs, clean water. I am in uninterrupted sleep. I am in the unhurried walk in nature without headphones, without a schedule. You think these things are too simple to make a difference, but simplicity is where miracles begin. You don't need superfood supplements if your heart is still swallowing resentment. You don't need expensive pills if your soul is lacking stillness. I want to begin from within, from your willingness to forgive, from your ability to be quiet, from your attitude when you eat, not rushed, not anxious, not burdened. My love, your body remembers the garden. It remembers harmony. It was not made to bear chronic stress. It was created to rest, to recover, to renew. Every time you put your phone down a bit earlier to pray, every time you choose a kind word instead of exploding, every time you stand beneath sunlight and give thanks for a new day, those moments, however small, are seeds of healing. I have been and am preparing the way for you. The people you need to meet, I will arrange. The answers you seek, I will whisper when you least expect. But first, you must choose. Do you truly want to be healed? Not healed to return to the same frantic pace, but healed to live differently, to live with awareness, to live with love, to live in true connection with me, not only in church, but in every cell. I see you not only in your weakness today, but in the radiant potential I breathed into you from the beginning. There is still time. Your body still has a chance. Your blood still flows. Your heart still beats, your breath still enters and leaves. These are signs that life has not left you, and I never have either. You only need to begin today with one loving decision for yourself, and I will walk with you step by step. My beloved, listen to me closely, for every word I now speak is not random. They do not come from human ideas or mere counsel, but are whispers from the depths of my eternal love for you. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not hopeless. Your body, though weary, wounded, and depleted, still carries within it a miraculous capacity for restoration that I myself placed there. Do you know every cell within you, though harmed, still waits for new life? They have never given up hope, and I, who created you with my own breath, have never lost hope in you. I knit you together not with cold logic, but with a creative tenderness beyond human understanding. Every organ, every reflex, every function within you holds a unique rhythm, and that rhythm originates from the life I gave. But I see clearly that rhythm is now misaligned. It no longer sings like a sacred harmony. It stutters, it sways, it spirals due not only to unhealthy food, but to something deeper and more destructive. Unnamed fears, repressed emotions, strained relationships, relentless self-criticism. You are still living as if just one more push will get you through. But I want you to stop, not to give up, but to change direction. For the more you walk in exhaustion's momentum, the farther you drift from the healing I intended for you. I did not make you to live in this kind of fatigue. You were not created to wake each morning with an invisible dread, afraid today will be like yesterday, afraid you won't be enough, won't be strong enough to face the world's demands. Those thoughts are not from me. They are born of a world that has strayed from truth, where human worth is measured in output, where sighs are normal and burnout is praised as victory. But I am not in those things. I long to see you revived, renewed, living in the dignity of one made in my image. And that begins when you are honest with yourself, that your body is crying out, that something is wrong, that the signs you are ignoring are not random, that this persistent fatigue was never meant to be your default state. You think restoration is distant, unreachable. But I say to you, a single small act combined with faith can be the beginning of a miracle. A lab appointment, a doctor's visit with an open heart, a small shift in diet, a decisive step away from a toxic relationship, an early night's rest. All of these can become the meeting place of grace. And I promise you this, I will be there when you sit in the waiting room. I am there when the doctor places the stethoscope on your chest. I am there when you sign the test form, read the results, and face the truth. I will never leave you alone on the path of healing. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. Do not fear examination. Do not fear the light that reveals the unknown, for the light will not condemn you. It will guide you. You asked me to show what's truly going on in your body. This is my answer. You pleaded for a sign. This very message is that sign. You wept silently, asking me, am I imagining this? And now I say, no, it is real. And I want you to listen to that truth before it's too late. Your body does not wish to betray you. It only wants you to look again. It is speaking, and I am using its voice to awaken your soul. For there is no holiness without wholeness. I don't just want you to live faithfully. I want you to live fully, in clarity, in vitality, in a deep joy not masked by chronic exhaustion. You may feel you've gone too far, but you've never gone too far for a return. One turn in your heart, just one upward glance saying, I want to start again, and I will take the first step with you. New habits will be placed into your hands. The right knowledge, the right help, the right people, I will arrange. I do not heal only by miracles. Healing is a journey that begins today. Don't put it off, thinking you'll find the time later when life is less busy. Life doesn't wait, and the chance for healing may not come knocking twice. Get yourself checked out. Walk where you need to go. I will guide the doctors, steady their hands, and give you the answers you need at the right moment. You don't need to be afraid. This isn't to frighten you, but to prepare you. Healing isn't just about restoring your body. It's about bringing you back to your true self. You thought you had to do something amazing to deserve love and healing, but I love you most when you're at your weakest. It's not because you're good, but because I am, and my goodness always wants what's best for you, even if it starts with facing difficult truths. You weren't made to just get through life, you were made to live it to the fullest. Stop accepting exhaustion, fatigue, and pain as normal. Look in the mirror and be honest with yourself. You are not okay. When you admit that, I can begin to heal you from the inside out, touching places you didn't even know needed my help. This isn't just a suggestion. It's a divine intervention. I'm here to awaken you before it's too late. You asked for clarity, and here's the light. Now is the time to start caring for your body, your temple, with every choice you make. Begin today, and I will walk with you every step of the way until you are truly alive. Your body is a sacred temple. Sit down now, not with a hurried mind, but with a soul ready to listen. Let go of the weight on your shoulders for a moment. What I am about to say isn't meant to condemn you or add to your burdens. It comes from the heart of a father who has never taken his eyes off you. From the very beginning, I knew you were a precious creation. Within you, I placed both heaven and earth, beating as one. You are not just flesh. You are a temple made of living cells infused with a sacred breath. Even when you've neglected your body, it still holds the divine memory that it belongs to the light. It belongs to me. Do you know that when you ignore the quiet whispers of fatigue, you start to drift away from the natural flow of life? The gasping breaths, the aches, the sleepless nights you've accepted as the price of being an adult? I didn't design them for you. I didn't create you to be worn down. I never intended for you to drag through your days powered by caffeine and anxiety. You call it normal, but normal doesn't always mean right. Your body is crying out in a language you've forgotten how to read. It aches, slows, and resists, not because it's betraying you, but because it loves you too much to suffer in silence. Every system in you is part of a divine symphony I orchestrated. When your liver gets tired, your blood thickens, or your stomach reacts to rushed meals, these aren't just symptoms. They are wake-up calls, ringing from a sacred temple that's starting to crack. You don't need to be superhuman to be healed. You only need the humility to admit you've strayed off course. The way back isn't a single grand decision, but 1,000 small ones. Choosing a mindful meal over a rushed one, deep sleep over a late night with a screen, or speaking your feelings instead of suppressing them. Every time you make these choices, a piece of your body's original life is restored. The path to healing. I say this not to accuse you. I don't count the times you fall. I remember every time you rise. If you can pause today, breathe deeply, and tell me you're ready to start a new path, healing has already begun. I don't need you to change overnight. I just need your first step, a small step of faith that holds the weight of heaven. Miracles don't come from grand acts, but from the deep trust that you have not been abandoned and that your body is worthy of restoration. I have placed healing all around you, in nature, in the knowledge of humanity, in the hearts of doctors I have guided. Don't be afraid to seek a good doctor. Don't reject the wisdom of those who understand. Don't shy away from a test, a result, or a medical appointment. They are not the enemy of faith. They are part of the wise plan I've woven for you. Sometimes, a simple checkup is the first step back to a truly healthy life. You once thought illness meant you had failed, but your body isn't weary because you are weak. It is weary because you've lived in a world that has forgotten how to rest. A world that is constantly racing and comparing, burdening you as if you were a machine. But you are not a machine. You are life itself, delicate and temporary. And that is why you need me. You need love, you need guidance, and you need a slower, truer rhythm of living. When you eat with intention, it's not dieting, it's an act of worship. When you get enough sleep, it's not laziness. It's an act of faith that you don't have to control everything. When you refuse to take in what is toxic, not just in food, but in words, thoughts, and news, you are guarding the temple against invisible threats. Healing doesn't come from trying to become someone else. It comes from returning to who you truly are. My beloved, my dwelling place. As you follow me, your body will begin to speak a new language, a language of life. You'll feel peace not only in your heart, but in every part of your being. You will no longer wake up to battle yourself. Instead, you will rise with a renewed connection to me, your body, and every sacred detail of your daily life. The silent language of your blood. My precious child, there are things in this life that seem invisible, but hold the power to shape your life. I'm talking about your blood, the stream of life, the pulse of your existence. It's not just a crimson fluid. It's a sacred symphony I have woven with my own hands. Every drop, every beat, every silent movement is a whisper from the temple in which you dwell. You might think you're fine because everything on the surface is still working. You can walk, work, and eat. But have you ever paused to ask how you really are on the inside? Have you ever wondered if the blood flowing through you carries peace or the silent scream of exhausted cells? I created blood not only to sustain your body, but to reveal what lies deep within. It's a miraculous messenger. When everything is flowing as it should, you feel clear-minded, vibrant, and light-hearted. But when something is off, your blood responds. It can become heavy, inflamed, and sluggish. It records what you eat, what you think, what you feel. Every choice, every wound, every moment of surrender. You've eaten in a rush, drunk things just because everyone else did, and swallowed anger and worry. You thought it was harmless, but I see it in your blood. The stress levels are too high, the inflammation is out of control, and the flow has slowed. You can't see this, but I can. I see every warning sign, and I hear the cry for help from every organ fighting to protect you from your daily choices. A call to change. That is why I'm calling out to you now, not to blame you, but to let you know that it's never too late to change. You can keep living the way you are, treating symptoms and ignoring the root causes, but the truth will not remain hidden. What you ignore will eventually surface. The cost of neglect isn't always a sudden illness. It's a quiet decline that robs you of your quality of life without you even noticing. I see so many of my children working tirelessly on the surface, taking pills for headaches while their liver cries for relief, exercising for their image while their heart collapses from repressed emotions, and consuming supplements while their blood turns toxic from chronic anxiety. I don't want you to be caught in that cycle. I want you to bravely look within, not with fear, but with open eyes and a trusting heart. I know it's not easy. I know this isn't a one-day journey, but you are not alone. I am here, walking beside you and guiding you in every small thing. I will place gentle stirrings in your spirit, like the day you feel called to eat greens instead of fried food, a night when you long to turn off your phone and sleep, or a morning you place your hand on your heart and whisper, I am grateful for this body. These small things, done in faith, are the beginning of miracles. You don't need to change everything at once, but you must begin to listen. Your body is a temple, and your blood is the sacred river flowing through it. When that river is polluted by improper food, toxic emotions, or a restless life, the temple starts to fall apart. No one builds a temple in a day, and no one ruins it in a moment. But each wrong choice, each ignored warning sign, leads to a collapse you never saw coming. I see parts of you crying out for cleansing, not a surface cleansing, but a root-level purification. I want your blood to be light again, your liver to breathe, your mind to be clear, your gut to find balance, and your immune system to rise in the glory with which I made it. But this can only happen when you are willing to look into your own bloodstream and ask, am I nourishing it or poisoning it each day? Faith and healing. My child, do not let fear keep you from discovering the truth. Do not let guilt chain you to the past. I don't ask for perfection. I ask for humility. Be honest with yourself. Reevaluate how you live, eat, think, and rest. Do not run from the light, for light doesn't come to expose you, it comes to lead you. Your blood needs your attention, not so you'll worry, but so you'll love it as part of your sacred life. If you hear my voice today, do not harden your heart. Take one small step, book a blood test. Read the results with new understanding. Learn to read the numbers not to fear, but to act. Adjust your diet bit by bit. Say no to what burdens your body and yes to what truly nourishes it. I will bless each of your choices, not because they are perfect, but because they are made in faith. Healing, no matter how great, always begins with one small decision. And today, that decision can be yours. I know you can make it, for I have sown within you the power to recover, to be renewed, and to live not just by surviving, but in fullness, free, whole, and healthy from the inside out. Your blood is like a scroll, and I am the one who wrote it. Every element, every cell, every movement is a line in the sacred song of life. If you let me take up the pen again, if you let me rewrite the parts that have gone off key, I will compose a new song, the song of healing, of rebirth, of a life beyond the limits you thought you had to endure. Faith is not weakness. My beloved child, I did not place within you a spirit of weakness, trembling, or doubt. From the moment I breathed life into you, I gave you a spirit of strength, a soul capable of love, discernment, and the wisdom to care for itself. What you're learning about your body, your blood, and the systems within you is not separate from faith. It's part of obedience. A faithful child doesn't obey me with words alone, but by being aware of their own body, the very temple where I dwell. You may have once believed that getting checkups or routine blood work was a sign of weak faith, as if you were doubting my power. But hear me clearly, beloved. That is not doubt. It is awareness. Did I not say, watch and pray? How can you truly watch if you don't know what's happening inside your own temple? You get tested not because you distrust me, but because you trust me enough to listen to my gentle nudge. Check, examine, let the light of truth shine. Your blood is speaking. It is a secret language I wrote from the beginning. In every drop are sacred messages, of iron dropping too low, making you weary, of vitamin D draining away, leaving you quietly sad, of B12 fading, clouding your memory, of hormones thrown off balance, stirring your emotions like a storm. I created those systems. I understand them all. Your numbers aren't a disappointment. They're a map to bring you back to the right path. When a marker in your blood shifts, it's not meaningless. It's a gentle alarm, an invitation to pay attention, adjust, and restore. Like the warning light on a dashboard, those numbers aren't there to frighten you. They're there to make you pause, examine, and repair before the damage deepens. You don't need to fear knowing what you lack. A deficiency isn't a failure. It's your body confessing, I need help. And that confession doesn't make you weak. It makes you honest. Wisdom and miracles. I am not ashamed of the parts of you that are not yet whole. I knew them before you did, and I prepared the remedy long ago through food, sunlight, rest, and the experts I've placed around you. I did not design you to struggle alone. I designed community, knowledge, and opportunity for your care. But if you refuse to look at the truth, how can you receive the healing? You may have thought you were healthy just because you felt no symptoms. But health is more than a feeling. It's an inner harmony where every system works in quiet rhythm. When a marker shifts, you're not wrong, but you must pause. Don't let what can be addressed today become what cannot be reversed tomorrow. Remember, wisdom always comes before a miracle. Sometimes healing doesn't come in a supernatural way. Sometimes it arrives in a test report where you see an unusual number and then change your diet, your sleep, and your habits. These seemingly small actions done in faith become the foundation of miracles. You only need to believe that I can use the ordinary to bring forth the extraordinary. That is why I placed life in the blood, to let it speak on behalf of what you can't yet feel. Do not fear the truth, my child. Truth doesn't come to punish, it comes to set you free. The truth found in a blood test isn't meant to trap you in anxiety, but to open doors of intention, change, and a new path that leads to abundant life. Do what must be done with faith, with hope, and with gratitude. This is not a betrayal of faith. This is living by faith. I love you enough to give you light, the light of understanding, of science, and of the people I've appointed to help you. And I love you enough to say this plainly. Hesitate no more. If you have delayed, avoided, or feared, then stop now and breathe. Choose a faith that takes initiative. Choose to love yourself by measuring, checking, and adjusting. This is the path I have given you, not burdensome, but full of grace. Your body is not your sickness, my beloved child. I want you to understand one thing clearly. Sickness is not your identity, and a life drained, dependent, and wearied by worry is never what I intended for you. When your body speaks in pain, exhaustion, or small symptoms, it's not just a biological issue. It's a call from within, from the sacred temple I designed for you. Just as hunger signals the need to eat and thirst the need to drink, so too, when your blood shifts, it's a call to repair, a warning from the living system I crafted. Do not ignore it. Do not wait until your body collapses before you plead for healing. I have already given humanity tools to hear the silent voice of the body: blood work, imaging, and biochemical markers. These are not meant to incite fear, but to bring light to the places you haven't yet seen. Do you think I oppose medicine? No, my child. Science is not my enemy when it flows from wisdom and reverence. I am the one who planted the seeds of discovery in human hearts. I moved through the hands of physicians and used them as instruments in my healing plan. When a doctor asks the right question, when a nurse touches you with gentleness, when a healer sees the pain no one else does, that is me intervening, not to replace me, but to reach you through many paths. Do not reject that help. Do not dismiss good counsel just because you're waiting for a more supernatural miracle. Sometimes the miracle wears a white coat. The path of miracles. I once used clay and saliva to open blind eyes. It was crude, but my power flowed through it. Today, I may use a vitamin, a healing herb, the right remedy, or a nutrition plan to regenerate life in you. I am not above using prescribed medication if it serves as a temporary door to deeper healing. Do not idolize or despise any tool. Let faith guide your discernment. But hear me, child. As you learn, receive, and cooperate with wise earthly methods, never place all your trust in them. I have given you wisdom to use medicine, but I don't want you to become a slave to a diagnosis. Doctors may read your results, but I read your future. Science may identify the problem, but I am the one who restores from the root. You are not bound by the limits of a medical report. I don't deny what doctors say, but I am not confined by their conclusions. They may say there's no way, but I say, rise. They may declare it's too late, but I, the Lord of Time, say, not yet. You may see a dead end, but I see the path of miracles, and I will open it. I am the Lord of the impossible. I once parted the sea, turned water into wine, made the lame dance, the blind see, and the dead rise. Don't let your modern mind close itself to ancient power that is still alive. That power has not faded. That arm has not weakened. And that heart beating wildly with love for you has never stopped hoping you will be whole. Do you remember the woman who had been bleeding for 12 years? No doctor could heal her, but one touch on my robe and life surged back into her. You don't need much, just one act of faith, one whispered prayer in the night, one walk toward the clinic, one decision to change your diet, one morning where you don't skip breakfast, one choice to say enough to neglect. That is your touch, and I will do the rest. A faith that takes initiative. Nothing is too hard for me. No cell in your body is beyond my reach. No marker is beyond repair if I touch it. But remember, the miracle isn't so you can live as before. It is so you can live differently. Live with gratitude, with discipline, and with the awareness that you carry within you a sacred temple. That temple must not be left in ruins. So do not choose between faith and medicine. Walk with both in wisdom and humility, with your eyes fixed on me. Faith is not refusing a test. It is not ignoring nutritional advice. Faith is knowing that no matter the result, you are not alone. And I, the living one, am still at work behind every number. I have already prepared companions for your journey. Do not reject them. When a sincere physician tells you that you need to make a change, listen as though I myself am speaking. When a loved one reminds you to eat more mindfully, hear it as if I am whispering to your soul. When a new door opens to a treatment or a specialist, walk through it as though I am pulling out a chair for you at the banquet table of healing. You are not abandoned, forgotten, or judged for the choices of your past. I don't look at your medical records to condemn you. I see you through the eyes of a father, longing to see his child whole, vibrant, and alive. And so I am still inviting you this very moment to return to the beautiful plan I intended from the beginning. If you choose to walk with me, nothing is impossible. Take heart, my beloved. Do not fear what you don't yet understand. Do not stop because of a diagnosis. Do not let someone else's label of impossible limit the future I have for you. You are my masterpiece, and I, your creator, never fail in any work of my hands. The power of small acts, my precious child. True faith is not something you only hold in moments of peace. It's refined in the days when you feel overwhelmed, when a test result makes your heart sink, or when a doctor offers no guarantee. It is in those moments that faith must take its stand. Not faith in numbers or medical reports, but faith in me, the unchanging one who has carried you through every storm. I know your heart trembles. I know the feeling of seeing an irregular number or a phrase that says, "at risk." But you haven't failed. You have simply stepped into a new chapter, the chapter where awareness and healing begin. I can't restore what is still hidden, but when light shines in and truth is revealed, I can begin the full work of restoration. So don't tremble when you hear words like deficiency or disorder. Rejoice, because now you know. Now deceit has no place to hide. I can only set free what you are willing to face. And I promise you there is no disorder beyond my ability to heal. No deficiency my love cannot fill. In fact, I desire your healing even more than you do, because I don't just want you to be not sick. I want you to be strong, light, and at ease in the very body I created. When you take a supplement, do it as an act of faith. Pray, Lord, I receive this as your tool of healing. When you eat a nourishing meal, know that you are partnering with me in rebuilding my temple. Every spoonful cooked in love and every moment of sleep you allow yourself is not laziness, it is trust. Faith is not separate from the physical. It is woven into every part of your life. I have never divided the spiritual and the physical. I see it all as one sacred whole. When you breathe deeply, I am there. When you lie still in a hospital bed and whisper a prayer, I am there. When your tears fall during treatment, I am beside you, never a step away. Your body and your soul are not separate. They are a symphony, and I am the conductor. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you're about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. The miracle of habit. Don't assume that only those who are healed instantly have faith. Sometimes true faith is continuing without seeing results, believing while still exhausted. It's when you take your medicine day after day and still pray. It's when you adjust every meal but see no change. That's when your faith is strongest. And I see it. I treasure every quiet act no one else sees. If you are waiting for a dramatic miracle, know this. Miracles can come in the form of good habits repeated with love. A miracle isn't always a sudden shift. It's restoration day by day, piece by piece. And your faith is the seed from which that miracle sprouts. Don't uproot it too soon, just because you haven't seen the tree yet. Be patient, nurture it, and one day you will look back and see how far you've come. Not by your own strength, but by my relentless grace. You did not give up. You chose life. You chose to keep going. You are closer to healing not because of willpower, but because of the sacred connection between you and me, between your body and truth. I will never let your faith be wasted. No tear cried in a dark room is meaningless. No whispered prayer goes unheard. So do not doubt the value of each small act today. A gentle walk, a hug from someone you love, a morning that begins without your phone, a night of sleep without anxiety. These are signs of a child returning to themselves, to the temple of life, to me. You asked me, is my faith enough? And I say, a mustard seed planted in the right place can move mountains. Place your faith in me, my child, not in numbers, not in symptoms, not in people, though I may use them. I alone am the source. I alone am the healer. And when your faith is placed rightly, what once seemed impossible will become inevitable. I am healing you, not just in your body, but in your soul, your emotions, and your trust. And I will not stop until you are whole, exactly as I intended you from the very beginning. The sacred in the ordinary. My beloved, when you bring a capsule to your lips or open a bottle of herbs or simply place your hand over a warm meal, I invite you to pause, not in hesitation, but in reverence. For everything you take into your body, if offered in gratitude and faith, becomes more than a substance. It becomes part of the miracle. Learn to whisper in your heart, even in a single breath, Lord, I thank you for this. Please bless it. Let it reach places my hands cannot. That simple prayer takes no time, yet it shakes heaven. It makes what seems ordinary become sacred. When you offer me a spoonful of porridge, a pill, or a timely rest, you are joining me in the work of healing. You are not alone on this path. I walk with you in every heartbeat, every hesitation, every moment you think it's too late. But you are never too late. When you begin to offer me each small moment, drinking water, choosing food, entering a clinic, those moments stop being routine and become acts of worship. Healing doesn't only come through the hands of doctors. It comes in the very instant your soul says yes to care. I've told you your blood is precious to me, not only because it keeps you alive, but because it bears the signs of your soul. You can't see it, but I do. The subtle shifts in your blood each time you laugh honestly or cry silently. Each drop holds memories, burdens, and even hope. And above all, your blood carries a promise, the promise that you have been redeemed. I chose blood as an image, as a truth, as a bridge between earth and heaven, for blood speaks. It cries when you are hurt. It warns when you are weak. It rejoices when your body begins to recover. Your blood is a map of life and a journal of faith. That is why I remind you once more. Do not take blood tests lightly, not because I suspect your health, but because I love the life within you so deeply that I don't want you to miss any message your body is trying to send. You service your car, change its oil, and maintain it to keep it running well. Should you not take greater care of the living temple I gave you? Your blood records everything, what you put in your body, the stress you bottle up, the sleepless nights, the words left unsaid, the dreams set aside. And here is the miracle. It also records change. When you forgive, inflammation lowers. When you rest, your blood pressure returns to peace. When you are grateful, healing hormones rise. When you choose to live well, not from pressure but from love, your blood glows. I designed you with a wondrous self-regulating system, but it needs your cooperation. No one can make your blood well if you keep holding on to what is poisoning you. Don't wait until it's too late. Don't assume that no symptoms today means all is well. Darkness often begins in silence, and blood is the first to show it. Get your blood tested not out of fear, but as an act of love for yourself, just as I love you. See it not as checking your health, but as listening to your soul within the flesh. Don't do it passively and then forget the report. Sit down, pray. Ask me, Lord, what are you trying to teach me through these numbers? I will show you. I will explain. I am still here. I am the one who made you, and I am the one who walks with you through every step of healing. A divine invitation. You have the strength to change, and I am here to give it to you. Don't hesitate to seek help from doctors, specialists, or healers. as I have placed them exactly where they are to walk with you. You don't need to understand everything. You just need to be humble enough to take the next step. When you walk in the light, darkness has no power over you. And when you walk with me, even the chaos within your blood must surrender to the healing power of love. Remember this, the life within you is so precious that my own son gave his blood to protect it. You are not insignificant. You are not merely one among millions. You are a living temple where blood carries not only nutrients but an eternal covenant between you and me. Every drop proclaims my word. I choose you, I redeem you, and I will restore you fully. Live as though you know this. Care for your body as the sacred gift it is, and begin with the simplest act. Listen to your blood. Often, that is where your healing begins. I, the giver of life, stand ready at the threshold to receive every decision you make, not with judgment, but with open, merciful arms. The weary heart, my beloved child, I hear the voice of your soul. I hear not only the prayers whispered from your lips, but also the silent sigh in the darkness of the night when no one is watching. I know you have done your best. You have seen the doctors, followed the instructions, changed your lifestyle, believed, and continued to hope. Even though the results have not come as you wished, even though your body still feels heavy and you have yet to regain the fullness of life, I am still here. I have not taken my eyes off you for a single moment. I want to speak directly to your weary heart. Do not be afraid to tell me you are tired. I am not disappointed when you confess. I've tried, but nothing seems to change. In truth, it is in that very moment when you admit you can't go on that I draw nearest. You don't need to hide your exhaustion from me or pretend to have faith if your heart is weighed down. I have not come to scold you, but to embrace you, not because you are strong, but because you are falling. And I call that the beginning of healing. There are things in the healing process you cannot see. Quiet, underground movements, gentle repairs, layers of wounds being unraveled, though so slowly that it feels as if nothing is happening. Sometimes, tests provide not answers, but more questions. Yet, my child, questions are not dead ends. They are the beginning of a deeper search. If you keep walking, even with trembling steps, I promise you will not walk in vain. I know the frustration of trying again, of mustering the courage to take one more test, start another treatment, avoid yet another group of foods, and persist in one more routine. But I say to you, do not let one disappointing result make you abandon the entire journey. A closed door does not mean all doors are shut. Perhaps the next test won't just give you a number. It might open a new perspective and reveal a key you've never had before. Don't shut your heart just because you haven't seen quick results. I am at work, silently, deeply, and faithfully. You may not see it, but I am working. You may not hear it, but I am speaking. You may not feel it, but I am guiding every step, every appointment, and every person you meet. I will continue to guide you because healing is not a straight path. It is a spiral one. Sometimes it feels like you're going in circles, but truly, you are rising with each turn. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. The healing of body and soul. There is a truth you need to know. Your deficiency is not only in your blood chemistry. Often, what is making you unwell is not just biological markers, but a soul that has gone too long without rest. Some are lacking iron, but others are lacking laughter. Some need vitamin D, but others need the light of hope. Some need omega-3s, but others need a word of comfort, a warm embrace, or an unhurried afternoon doing nothing at all. You are not just a body, you are a whole being. And the healing I long to give you is complete, from body to soul. Your blood work might say everything is fine, yet your sleep is restless. Your liver might be functioning well, but your mind is in turmoil. I do not overlook these things. I see the full picture. I care not only about liver enzymes, but also about the joy missing from your voice. I don't just measure your iron levels. I measure the hope you have left after each disappointment. And, my child, when you care for your soul, you are also healing your body. When you let go of self-blame, learn to forgive, and sit under the morning sun doing nothing but breathing, that is a sacred medicine I have placed in nature and in your spirit. Sometimes the best medicine is not a prescription, but gratitude. It is waking early just to watch the sunrise, or choosing not to chase a full schedule, but pausing to listen. I am still here, waiting for you to reconnect with these simple yet profound things. Keep going, try again. Take the test one more time, but this time, do it with a calmer heart, letting truth guide you instead of numbers define you. Ask me before you enter the clinic. Invite me into the consultation. Write my name across your medical reports. I long to walk with you not only in the miracles, but also in the mundane. I am the Lord your God, the healer, but also the one who walks with you through each ordinary day. I can work wonders, but I also move through simplicity, through doctors, nutritionists, a friend who listens, or a small book that falls into your hands at just the right moment. These are my hidden hands at work. Do not close your heart to such help. You don't have to be strong alone. You only need to be soft and willing to receive. Keep walking, my beloved child. Even when you're tired, even when you don't see results, even with lingering doubts, just keep walking. Walk with a tender heart. Walk with the small faith you still have. Walk with the shortest prayer on your lips. Lord, please don't leave me. I never have, and I will not start now. Your journey is not over. I am still writing, slowly, yes, but with a love deeper than the sea. Awaken your soul. My beloved child, I ask you not to interrogate, but to awaken your heart. Are you nourishing your soul with my word each morning? Is your first glance toward your phone or toward my presence? When your heart feels empty and your mind is confused, do you seek human opinions, or do you seek words from heaven? Your soul, dear one, needs feeding just as your body does. And if left starved, it will dry out, lose its way, and fade in the light. Are you soothing your heart in my presence? Or are you searching for temporary solutions, fleeting pleasures, worldly affirmation, or empty consolations? Are you breathing in my spirit each day? Or are you inhaling worry, packed schedules, and a pace of life that leaves no room for me? These, my child, are the soul's silent tests, not for judgment, but so that you and I may look together. Are you truly living or merely existing? Healing doesn't begin with medicine. It begins with awareness. And the deepest awareness is knowing that I am the source of life for both your body and your soul. If you starve your soul, even the healthiest body will feel drained. If you forget my presence, even perfect health metrics won't fill the emptiness in your heart. Don't separate me from your healing journey, for when you feed your soul, you open the door for healing to enter every cell. Historical truths, living hope. Let me remind you, dear one, I am the one who never changes. What I have done in the past are not bedtime stories for children. They are truths. They are living proof. I touched the leper, and his skin became new again. No more shame, no more isolation, no more defilement. That was the healing not only of a body, but of dignity and worth. Do you remember Jairus, who knelt before me because his daughter was dying? I did not ignore his tears. I walked with him and entered the room where all had given up hope. I took the child's hand and said, "Rise," and she lived again. Not because of someone's intercession or because she deserved it, but because her father placed his hope in me, and because I, the one full of compassion, have never turned away a prayer spoken in faith. And when Hezekiah learned that his life was ending, he did not thrash in panic. He turned his face to the wall, wept before me, and cried out with a broken heart. Do you know what happened then? I not only heard his cry, I added 15 more years to his life. A story that seemed about to close, I reopened with a miraculous twist. And if I did that for him, do you not believe I can do the same for you, my child? Do not let the world convince you that these things are mere symbols, spiritual metaphors, or sacred myths. No, they are historical imprints of a God who is alive and still at work. I am the one who once healed, and I am still healing. I am the one who once resurrected, and I am still breathing life into what seems dead within you. Your joy, your hope, your self-love, your ability to walk lightly and freely. Do not listen to the voice that says you are unworthy. Do not let guilt or failure keep you from drawing near to me. I did not come to heal only those who have lived righteously. I came for the broken, the fallen, the ones who have lost themselves. I do not require you to be clean before coming to me. Come, and I will wash you. Open your heart, and I will do the rest. Healing does not begin with perfection. It begins with honesty. Be real with yourself. If you're tired, say so to me. If you feel you've strayed too far, admit it. That is not a failure. That is the beginning. And once you confess, I will give you faith. A faith enough to stand again and enough for me to move. You can be healed. You will be healed. But first, you must believe that I can. And if you believe, even with just a mustard seed of faith, the miracle will begin to sprout. Not with a thunderclap from heaven, but perhaps through a breath that's deeper than usual. A morning that feels lighter, a test result that's more hopeful, a pain that softens, a night of peaceful sleep, or a sense of peace that comes from nowhere. That is me moving. In silence, but never absent. Healing through action. I love you. That love is the foundation of everything I do, even healing. If you place your trust in me with tangible steps and obedient choices in even the smallest things, then your body, your soul, and your future will be renewed. So why not now, my dear one? Why not you? The one I named before your first cry, the one whose every detail I have etched into the palm of my hand. Do not wait for perfect conditions or a someday when you feel strong enough, good enough, or ready enough. Healing does not wait for your worthiness. Healing begins when you simply say, yes, I believe, and that moment could be right now. I see the knots inside you, the questions still unspoken. Am I truly loved? Could a miracle really happen for me? You look around and see others healed, restored, and uplifted, but deep inside you wonder, what about me? You fear that I've overlooked you, that I'm too busy, or that I've changed. But no, my child, I have never changed. I am not a man to promise and forget, to love and then abandon. I am the unchanging one, yesterday, today, and forever. The only thing that must change is whether your heart will open to receive. Miracles do not require your perfection, but they often arrive when hearts are ready. When the soul no longer hides behind excuses, busyness, doubt, or fear. When you are willing to say, even though I don't understand, I will still follow, that's when the miracle begins to find its way. I am not limited in power. I am waiting for your agreement. Faith without action is merely a dead word. I can multiply bread as I once did on the green hill for the hungry crowd, but you must bring the little you have. A bit of bread, a bit of fish, a bit of faith. I don't need you to have enough. I only need you to be real. Real with yourself. Real with me. Real with the pain you carry. I can heal, my child. I am the God of Israel, the healer of all disease. But I do not heal so you can return to your old ways. I heal so you may walk a new path where life and freedom await you. A simple blood test may seem small, but in my eyes, it is an act of obedience. When you say, I want to know the truth about my body, even if that truth may scare me, you open the door for me to enter. The follow-up appointment you've been delaying, if done in faith, becomes a deeply spiritual act. When you choose better food, go to bed on time, choose water over soda, or walk instead of sitting, you are declaring to heaven and earth, I no longer live as before. I place my trust in the God of life. Oh, do you know your blood, quietly flowing through your body, holds truths I long for you to discover? Nutrient deficiencies, hidden inflammation, imbalanced markers. I see them all, not to judge, but to guide. There are truths long hidden, not because I've hidden them, but because you haven't dared to look. But now, if you bravely open your eyes, courageously get tested, and step into understanding, I will unveil. And when light shines, darkness loses its grip. I do not expose to shame you. I reveal to set you free. The end of exposure always comes with a promise. When truth is revealed, growth begins. When blood speaks what needs to be said, I begin to clean, to heal, to recreate from within, not through fleeting magic, but through daily care, gentle reminders in your mind, and repeated small actions. Drinking water, resting, forgiving, eating well, and breathing deeply. Each act will weave into a great work, the restoration of your temple. I have done this for many, and I will do it for you. Why? Because I love you. I have never stopped loving you, and I cannot stay silent while I watch you losing life bit by bit. Even if no one else says I see, even if the doctor hasn't spoken, I already know. And because I know, I say to you today, delay no more. Don't wait until it's too late. Don't wait for an extraordinary miracle. Begin with simple obedience, a test, an appointment, an action, a prayer, a decision that says, I will not go back. Let these be your offering to me. I will receive them and multiply them, as I once did with 5 loaves and 2 fish, and you will witness what once seemed impossible. Your body healed, your soul restored, and your life transformed. Revering your body as a temple. My beloved, long ago, when someone was suspected of having leprosy, they were brought before the priest, the one I appointed to observe, discern, and declare the condition of that body. The priest's role was not to condemn, but to protect the community and open the door for recovery. He didn't just look at the skin, he read what was simmering beneath. And now I, your great high priest, do not look at you through the lens of law, but with eyes full of mercy. I stoop down not just to examine your skin, but the currents in your bloodstream and the silent tremors in your soul. When I say, let the truth be revealed, it is not to expose your weakness, but to let light enter where it's been dark for too long. Where truth resides, healing begins. No darkness can remain when you face the truth with courage and an open heart. You may find yourself looking at a lab report, seeing your iron levels dropping to a concerning low. You may discover that vitamin D, my gift through sunlight, is insufficient in your body. Your hormones may be out of rhythm, stirring unstable emotions and causing vague physical responses no one can explain. Your white blood cells may rise, signaling a silent battle your body has fought for years. But my child, be strong. Every abnormal level, every unexpected discovery, every number that feels wrong is not a sentence. They are invitations from me, saying, let me in, let me walk with you. Each thing you uncover in your journey back to yourself is a small map leading to healing. What is revealed is not meant to shame you, but so you no longer have to fight in the dark. For in the light you will know what you need, and I will help you find it. I will not let you walk alone. Not one step in your journey of restoration will be without me. I will grant you wisdom, not just in knowledge, but in intuition, stillness, and listening. I will open the hearts of specialists so they don't only treat your body, but also understand the ache within your soul. They will not make you feel small or rush to diagnose you by numbers. They will see you through the eyes I have placed in them, eyes of compassion. I will place on your path people who do not dismiss your pain. They won't say you're too sensitive when you say you're tired. They won't overlook subtle signs. They will listen, and I will give you the discernment to know who I've sent, who you can trust, who truly carries the echo of my help. You don't need to understand everything, but I will help you recognize what is right, what is good, and what is meant for you. But my dear child, I can open the door, but you must walk through it. I can bring you near the waters of healing, but you must bend down and drink. I can place the healer beside you, but you must be brave enough to say, I need help. No one can take this journey for you, but you will not take it alone. If you are willing to walk, I will make every step secure. You only need to begin. You may need to change some of your habits, wake up earlier, eat differently, learn to rest well, or walk away from relationships that disturb your heart. You may feel led to rearrange your home, your closet, or your schedule. That is not an inconvenience. That is part of cleansing the temple I cherish and still call very good. And like every temple that has fallen into disrepair, it needs to be restored stone by stone, tile by tile, lamp by lamp. Remember this, my child, you are not broken. You are simply in need of care, like a dry garden waiting for the early rain or a small ember waiting for a gentle breeze to burn again. Don't panic because of a few numbers. Don't despair because the discovery came late. I can restore. I am the one who turns deserts into pools of water. And I, who once restored the leper cast out by society, who gave sight to the blind, am reaching for you today. You only need to say to me, Lord, I am ready to know the truth. And when the truth is revealed, healing will begin, not because you are strong enough, but because you are humble enough to let me do my part. You are not defined by test results. You are defined by a love that does not change, and that love still flows in your veins, whispering, you are my chosen temple, and I will not let it fall. Faith and action working together. My beloved child, I see you walking between what seems like two opposing truths, faith and reality. You carry a heart that wants to believe fully in divine healing, but you also live in a body that feels pain, weariness, and weakness day by day. Sometimes you feel torn. Am I lacking faith if I get tested? Am I relying too much on medicine and forgetting God? But today I come to speak clearly, gently, and lovingly. You do not have to choose between faith and action. Bring both to me. Do not ignore your appointments. The ones you label not urgent may actually be early doors I've opened. Do not delay your checkups or brush aside reminders from doctors, loved ones, or your own body. I have given you a vessel that knows how to speak when something is wrong. Do not stay silent when your body is crying out. You are not to listen out of fear, but out of understanding. Not to worry, but to love yourself more deeply. I do not want you to live in anxiety, nor do I want you to deny reality. You were not called to panic. You were called to be alert. There is a spiritual wisdom awaiting you in each small action. Returning a missed call, booking a routine screening, paying attention to a blood marker, and asking the right question at the right time. This is not acting in the flesh. This is being a faithful steward of the life I have placed in your hands. When you hold the results in your hands, that piece of paper filled with numbers that may cause worry, confusion, or hope, pause. Bring it before me. Place those pages not just on the table, but on the altar of your heart. There, whisper or cry out, or simply sit in silence. I hear it all. You may say, Lord, this is the body you gave me. This is the report I have. I do not know everything, but you do. Lead me forward. If I must be treated, walk with me. If I need to stop, give me peace. If I must change, give me strength. Complete what humanity can only begin. Let these numbers not only align with medical standards, but with your heavenly order. That is how you connect the visible with the invisible. That is the union of deep faith and living wisdom. When you walk in understanding, I am pleased. When you walk in faith, I am with you. But when you walk with both, miracles are released. Not because you are perfect, but because you are soft-hearted enough to entrust me with what you cannot control. I never asked you to choose one or the other. I never said, if you truly believe, you won't need doctors. On the contrary, it was I who placed wisdom in them. I guide their hands during surgery, give them intuition in diagnosis, and work even through the simplest prescription. But what I want you to understand is this. Healing does not come from science alone, nor from faith alone, but from me, who uses both to bring life. Each time you obey, each time you don't skip a checkup out of fatigue or hesitation, each time you act rather than delay, you are building a living altar in your everyday life. You are declaring to your body and the whole universe, I trust God enough to listen and obey. I trust He not only heals supernaturally, but also guides me naturally. I delight in your prayers. I delight in your belief in divine intervention. But I also delight in your note-taking of symptoms, your call to book a checkup, your preparation of nourishing meals, your decision to sleep early, and your quiet moments by the window each morning just to feel your body and its rhythm. These things are no less sacred, because every act done with reverence is worship. So, my child, take responsibility, but not with fear, not with shame. Do it with gratitude, with holy reverence, knowing this is the body I have given you, and it is worthy of mindful, loving care. And in every action you do for this body, even the smallest, I see a reflection of my love. I see you being faithful, and I who loved you before your bones were formed will never abandon you now. Miracles don't always shake heaven and earth. A miracle can be a liver enzyme returning to normal, a blood pressure that stabilizes, a day where you wake and feel light, or a moment you no longer have to strain just to live. And when you realize that the miracle didn't come in a flash, but was woven patiently through faith and action, you will see I didn't just heal you, I taught you how to live healed. So walk on, my beloved, in the light, in reality, and in the Spirit. You are not walking away from faith when you act. You are walking deeper into trust when you obey in the little things. And when you live this way, your body will thrive, your mind will rest, and your soul will sing. For I, your Lord, who created you and who is restoring you, am still holding your hand, always holding, never letting go. My beloved child, carry this message forward. Someone you know is waiting for a word just like this. What you've heard today isn't only for this hour. It's a guidepost for what's to come. The time we live in is not ordinary, and neither is your calling. You've been chosen to live with clarity, with conviction, and with love that knows no bounds. Remember, even in your quietest moments, you are seen and surrounded. If this message stirred something within you, don't let the journey stop here. Subscribe and walk with us again as we explore the truths that build you up and guide you forward. Share this word with someone feeling lost. Let them feel the warmth of belonging. Until next time, remain rooted in truth, walk gently but fearlessly, and never forget, you were born for impact. Amen.